A very warm welcome back to the Lead2Xceed chat with me, Henry Baye. In our last chat, we had a chat with Christian Diaba, who is a performance and executive coach and who has had the experience of coaching many leaders and helping them drive up their leadership impact. Guess what? I have Chris back with me today on the chat, and we're going to delve a bit more into the subject of coaching. Welcome back, Chris.
Thank you very much, Henry. Great to be back.
Thank you. It's always exciting to have you back on the show. So the last time we were talking a little bit about leaders and they coaching their people. I have been wondering though that, by the time leaders become leaders, shouldn't they already be good coaches or what was there? Are all leaders good coaches?
Interesting question. I would have loved to say yes to that, especially because you recall when we talked about leaders, then we talked about how really as a leader, you're aiming at taking people beyond where they assumed they could go. And then you look at the aspect of a coach, and the coach is helping and supporting you to unlock that potential that's within you. It's almost like you could say that a good leader, good coach, that's it. However, coaching goes beyond just inspiring people. We definitely would not say that we do what we do mainly because we are inspiring people. Coaching requires a set of skills, and I would say really that a leader should aspire to build those skills so they can be great coaches.
Wow. So there are some specific skills that are required, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as you say this, I'm thinking, do I have those skills? So what exactly are those skills? What is it that leaders will possess that will make them good coaches?
Great. Let's start with the first one, which has got to do with building trust. Coaching, remember, would involve me as the coach supporting you, who is the coachee or the client, to unlock your potential. However, coaching is not about advising or instructing people. It's not about giving suggestions. So if I'm going to engage with you and support you on your journey as a result of the coaching sessions or the coaching engagement, you and I should be at a point where we have built rapport, where we can speak with each other in a manner that you as the coachee do not feel judged, do not feel like you're going to be condemned for what you say. So coaching is so much built on the pillar of trust. I would say that trust will be the pillar or the foundation on which you build the coaching experience. So if as a leader, I want to be a coach, I must be seen and I must come across as trustworthy. My client, my coach should be able to trust me. As a leader, it means that the person who is looking up to me should be able to trust me to be able to support them, because it is also a process. So that's the first one. The second one, in the coaching engagement, I as the coach will do a lot less talking and you will do a lot more talking, which means something.
To be a listener.
I have to be a listener, exactly. Now, listening goes beyond listening to respond. When I'm speaking and you're listening and we're having a conversation, typically you're listening because you're attempting to get out of what I'm saying your next, if you like, key to make your input to the conversation. Coaching requires you to go beyond conversational listening to active listening, where you are creating space for the coachee to feel listened to. So that's important in the coaching experience. Let me build on that a little further. As a coach, you're listening for words, you're listening for the tone in the words that are being said. You're listening for what is not said in what is said.
What is not said in what is said.
Yeah.
That's kind of deep, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And don't forget that the times is the same sentence. How I say it, where I place the emphasis could change the meaning it has. I could say one thing and actually mean more than what I'm saying. And so the more I get to show that I'm listening to you, the more I can draw you out to speak more deeply into what you have to deal with. And so active listening is more involving. You're listening for words, you're listening for emotions, you're listening for everything that the person is saying, and yet all they're giving you is words.
It sounds to me from what you're saying that really coaching is a lot about creating a safe place, right?
Absolutely. Don't forget that a moment ago we talked about trust.
Yes.
We're building the trust because we want to create a safe place for the coachee to be able to express themselves. Mindful that ultimately, when they leave you, they have the responsibility of putting into action what they want to put into action. Mindful also that you're not going to be giving them advice or instruction with regards to what to do, which takes me to the next key skill every coach comes into the session with. That's got to do with asking powerful questions.
Asking powerful questions.
Have you ever been in a situation where somebody's asking you a question, and in that question, it's as if they are actually telling you what the answer to the question is?
I know.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not what I've been doing with you now.
The thing is this. When you do that, what you're actually doing is you're subtly attempting to put suggestions in the form of questions and hand them over to the coachee. Yeah.
In law, what they call leading questions.
There you go. In coaching, please keep your leading question strategy in your back pocket.
Yeah.
The kind of questions we're looking at are questions that are, number one, simple. Number two, they are meant to activate thinking in the client or coach beyond what they're thinking. It is also expected that the question should not be a complex question. Imagine I asked you 4 questions in one. So, Henry, when we came here today, did you come by car or by train? And what time did you get here? Which one do I want you to answer first? So, make the question simple. Don't lead by slipping your advice or your instruction and making it look like a question. And that question you're asking should activate thinking in your client.
Wow. Now that's wonderful. So there are 3 key things there. Number 1 is trust. Number 2 is the ability to listen. And number 3 is the ability to ask great questions.
Yeah.
Now, so far, I'm a bit confused, right? Because we know that coaches actually always in the football field always carry a certain little thing and they've got a plan on it and they're telling the players what to do and showing them when they get on the pitch which corner of the park they should play, and many of the times they end up coming and scoring goals. But what you're saying is that a coach never gives advice, a coach never gives instruction. So what is coaching there in that context then?
Go back to our previous conversation where we said that the coach aims at unlocking your potential to maximize performance. That presupposes that the coachee has it somewhere within themselves to get the solution. Also, not every situation, and here we're talking about leaders as coaches, not every situation requires that you go into a coaching scenario. If I came to you first day of joining your team and I asked you, for example, that where's the kitchen, you're not going to be asking me questions hoping that I can spark somewhere in my mind where the kitchen is.
Okay.
When I don't know, I don't know. My role as a coach is to understand that with regards to what you're bringing to me, the aspects that you already know, and yet there is that question mark you have there, or my focus is so much in another direction that I have lost the opportunity to look at other directions. So with the coach on the football field, and I don't have any qualification to deal with coaching on the football field. I'll leave it to the guys who are the more popular ones. I do love a few of them. Carlo Ancelotti would always get my fancy around that.
In fact, I read a book he has written about leadership, and some of the things you're saying,
yeah.
I can actually see a lot of those principles in Ancelotti's book. Actually,
Yeah. It is a lovely book because you notice that he compares the similarities between his role as a coach, and he calls it quiet leadership. Yeah. Back to me as the coach supporting you. When I've done what I've done with you, I'm not going to be following you with a stick and asking you to follow through with the issues. My role as the coach is to help you to think through what solutions are possible, and then you would have the responsibility of owning those solutions you came up with yourself and implementing them.
That's interesting. Recently, I was listening to someone who said that, as a coach, you just tell people what they've got to do. But what I'm hearing today suggests otherwise, that a coach is not the one who is just going about telling everybody what they ought to do. Actually, to be a coach, number one, you build an atmosphere of trust. Number two, you have to be a great listener. And number three, you have to learn to ask the great questions that enable your clients go away with their own plan and be able to execute on the plan to take off the limits. As I'm saying this now, I'm reminded of a movie I watched a couple of days ago on Netflix called The Overcomer. Fantastic example of the power of coaching. As we bring this chat to a close today with Christian, which is our second chat in the series on coaching, as usual, if you have any questions at all you would like to ask about leadership and coaching, or there's something that's been triggered in your mind through this conversation, or there's some thought that you'd like to explore some more, by all means, send those questions to us through the email on your screen or through this channel, and we'll be very pleased to get back to you. This has been me, Henry Baye, chatting with Christian Diaba on the Lead2Xceed platform. Lead2Xceed, inspiring leaders, multiplying impact. Look forward to see you on the next chat. And guess what? It will be a follow-up on coaching.